बोलो श्री आदिशक्ति जगदम्बा माता की जय शरणम। शिवमाबली महादेव की जय शरणम। सियापति रामचंद्र की जय शरणम। Sitaram devotees. We'll do that one more time. Sitaram devotees. Okay, now I'm starting to feel a little more like I'm in a Yagyashala. You know, it's very important for active participation. You see, when we come in a Yagyashala, when we enter into a mandir, we come here to tap into that energy, that vibration that will help to uplift us physically, mentally, and spiritually. Unless you play an active role, an active part in receiving, then you will not be able to receive at all. Right? Tonight you're going to hear about consciousness, you're going to hear about awareness. Tonight we're going to talk about that divine mother. You're going to hear about that divine goddess as the form of the mother. What she really represents. We worship that divine in the form of Gauri Mata, Parvati Mata, Durga Devi, Ma Kali, Adi Shakti, Jagadamba Mata, Ma Saraswati, Lakshmi Mata, Lakshmi Devi, all of these wonderful forms. Tonight we'll take a couple of the main ones and we'll try to understand why do we see God as the mother? What is so important when it comes to the mother? Why is the mother so special? Why does our scriptures give such high recognition, praise to the mother? And when I say the mother, I'm not just referring to the divine mother, but yes, I'm referring to that divine mother that is here upon the face of the earth in human form. That is the divine mother that I'm speaking about. So nevertheless, before we begin here today, I ask you all to clasp your hands, close your eyes, and bow your heads in prayer at this point in time as we are about to commence our 3 nights of Bhakti Gyan Yajna. I welcome each and every one of you. I offer my love, I offer my blessings to each and every one of you. At this point in time, we join, we pray. We ask the divine grace and blessings of that all-merciful Supreme Lord into our lives through the form of that divine mother, Adi Shakti Jagadamba Mata. We pray. You sit upright, you clasp your hands, you close your eyes, and you meditate, you contemplate upon the divine in the form of that divine mother, whichever form you hold near and dear to your heart. Allow that energy to enter into your hearts, into your minds, to eliminate, to eradicate, to remove all negativity, negative thoughts, negative energies, the negative impediments of the mind. For Durga is that one who is that inaccessible fortress That mother that represents victory. She's that one who will remove all the Durgani, the negative impediments from within us, helping us to uplift ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually as we head towards that supreme goal in life of self-realization. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahi Kavim Kavinam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashvatmanotavasida Sadhanam Om Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shuklavaranam Vishnu Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasannavaranam Daye Sarvavignopaşantaye Agajananam Paramarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahi Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhirvavatu me sada Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I want you to picture in your minds that Divine Mother in the most beautiful form. Whichever form, as I said, you can visualize and you can see her in. Some of us might see her in a physical form. Some of us might see her in the form of that divine energy. However you see her, that doesn't really matter. What matters is how do you feel and what experience are you having at this point in time. The goal is to take ourselves to higher levels. As we start tonight, we will transition over the next 3 nights. As we move from one guna to the next, we start in that Tamas guna, which is governed by Durga Devi. We move into a more subtle energy, which will represent Lakshmi Mata. Eventually reaching into that state of purity, oneness, calmness, focus, tranquility, samadhi, that state of equilibrium, equipoise, in the form of Saraswati Devi, Saraswati Mata. Om Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Buddha Paharani Jai Sarvati Devi Kalaratri Namostute Madhukaita Pavitra Vividatri Varane Namaha Rupam Dehi Jan Dehi Yesho Dehi Dvasho Jehi Na Tatu Na Mata Na Bandhuru Na Rata Na Putra Na Putra Na Vitya Na Bharta Na Jaya Na Vidya Na Vrittar Na Meva Gatistvam Tumekam Bhavani Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Om Shamno Mitra Sham Varunah Shamno Bhavadvaryama Sham Naindro Brahaspatihi Shamno Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Varishyami Ritam Varishyami Satyam Varishyami Tanmam Avatu Tarvataram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. In one tone of voice, we'll lift our voices as we chant victory to Bhagwan in the form of that Divine Mother. Bolo Shri Shakti Sharma Mata Ki. We could do that again, we could do it better this time. You see, Jai means victory. I'll specify the English language for you, right? I didn't say fig tree, I said victory. You see, the fig tree stands still. There is no moving. He's very calm and peaceful and subtle. But you have to move out of that state of being also subtle because we are talking about that Divine Mother, that Divine Shakti, Adi Shakti Jagamma Mata. And if you come and you surrender before that Divine Mother, in your life you want movement, in your life you want progress, in your life you want abundance. You want that blessing to flow in your life, not so? Say yes, Mama. or maybe Baba, or something Baba, anything Baba, you know, right? So you want great things in your life, but when we go to Bhagwan, we want to give to God how much? Ek chutki. You want to give God so much, but we want so much. When you go in front of the Lord and you start praying, oh Bhagwan, you will save me from this graha, and you will protect me and you will bless me, and I want a good education, Saraswati Mata, oh God, you bless me now. Let me get a good education, let me pass my exams. You ain't looking for Saraswati Mata whole year, but when time for exams, oh God, Saraswati Devi, you know me and you's friends, and me and you go to bar. Oh, bless me a little bit now, man. Let me pass the exam. Right? No problem. That Divine Mother is that Divine Light. She's always available to us. Always available to us. Right? Devotees. I want when we offer our love to that Divine Mother, when we offer our love to God, I want you to express it as though this is somebody you are standing at the airport, you are standing at the gates, and somebody that you love, somebody that you adore, that you have not seen for a very long time is walking through that gates and coming towards you. I want you to express your love in that manner. You know how you run and rush to the gate? I remember a long time when you go to the airport, right? And you see family you have not seen them for a very long time. And you are seeing them now. You are so excited to see them, not so? If you see your brother or your sister, they have left you for a while, and you see them coming back now, what do? You rush to the gates, and you're excited, and oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Everybody in the airport is here at that time. Not so? Not so? Don't lie. Say, yes, Baba. Right? You wonder, right? You have to tell the truth. Good. So, with that being said, right? Just like how you would express yourself when you go there and you see somebody you love, just like that, my dear friends, I want you to express your love for God. And I see some of my very good friends just at the Mandir, so they will help us as well too. Members of the Sadhu Shakti Satsang Mandir, thank you very much for making your presence here. Bye. Pandit Arish Maharaj, thank you very much for joining us. You can come a little bit closer in front, you'll have room. Today, puja was conducted also by our dear Pandit, Pandit Avinash Maharaj, always here to help and to assist to conduct puja. I told him, I said, Babaji, when I came this time, I want you to say a few words. He says, it is okay. He's so humble and so simple and so loving. Anything I say, he says, Acha. that is how it is. You know, wonderful, wonderful human being. Thank you very much, Bhai Panditji, for conducting beautiful puja. I'm sure that you would have helped to fill the energy. When I came into here, that energy was already established. That's why when I come and sit here, I'm already awakened. You know, there's no need for any more awakening. I am ready to get started. So let's express ourselves, devotees, with love, with faith, with devotion. Express yourselves. As I said, you are standing at the gates and that Divine Mother is reaching out to you. That Divine Mother is present there and she's showering her grace, her blessings, her mercy upon you. Picture it like your mother, you have not seen her for years. And years after, you are now able to see her. How would you feel? How excited you would be? How excited? How happy would you be? How emotional you would get? Don't be afraid. Tonight we are going to chant, we're going to sing, we're going to glorify the divine name of Bhagwan. Tonight we are here to rejoice. Tonight we are here to enjoy. Tonight we are here to express ourselves. COVID, schmovid. You don't fear COVID, I don't fear COVID. COVID fears me. There's a difference. There's a difference. You take precautions, that is important. Because as I always say, bear with me, I'm very straightforward, right? God will bless stupid people. So you have to take your precautions, that's very, very important, right? But at the same time, don't tell me that COVID prevents you from praying to God. That COVID prevents you from saying, Baba, it's COVID, I can't come home my house, I'm dead. But if you had to dead, you were dead. Panditji, you agree? Not so? If you have to dead, you cannot alter that. COVID can't change that. Nothing else can't change that. For those who have died during this period, I pray blessings upon their souls. May they be elevated. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that if you have to die, you have to die. Your time is written. She agrees with me. She knows this. Your time is written. I tell my mother all the time, do not tell me you are fearing and you have fear. And you see, fear kills people faster than anything else. Do you know that? If you look at the records of the people that have died during COVID, more people die from the common flu. Do you know that? Awareness is everything. Tonight you're going to hear about that. Awareness is everything. We fear things that we don't understand. Somebody tell you run and hide and hide and hide. In Trinidad, as soon as we hear that, fear strike in our hearts and everybody runs to hide. And then we go all over the place and we don't know what to do and we run helter-skelter and we become confused because of the wrong type of leadership, the lack of proper leadership. I'm not getting into politics here, but I'm just telling you. That is one of the main problems in religion, in society, in politics, and all of these different things. The lack of proper leadership leads us into darkness, rather than leading us out of the darkness into the light. A leader will never strike fear into your heart, for no reason whatsoever. A true leader, that is. Would never strike fear into your heart, because fear is a negative emotion. Do you know that? Where you have love and you have fear. All the positive emotions are based on the love, all the negative emotions are based on the fear. Anytime you have an emotion that is associated with fear, one of those negative emotions, you start killing yourself faster. Scientifically, I'm telling you, I don't make up things, right? You start killing yourself, you shorten your lifespan. That's why they tell you don't stress, because it sends up your blood pressure. It is all scientific, it's science. When you stress, when you have hate, when you have anger, when there's envy and jealousy and lust and greed and all of these things, it starts to kill you faster. Look at you all, how beautiful. I'm sure you all have a lot of love in your hearts. You see that love that is being experienced within, it shows on the outside. You don't have to tell nobody if you love them and they can feel it. Not so? And you can feel how much I love you? Not so? You see? Of course, look at the smiles. You can feel it, you can experience it. I don't have to go around and say how much I love you, because it can be seen through my actions. Similarly in this world, that is how we must live. It should be seen through your actions, but it starts with how you feel. And before it reaches to how you feel, it starts with how you think. How you think. How are you thinking? Are you thinking positively or are you thinking negatively? Are you allowing the wrong people to influence your life, to make you think the wrong way? I must commend each and every one of you for making the effort to come out here today. Just please remember, all of you that are in the Mandara at this point in time, you should have your mask on. If you don't have one on, please put one on. Thank you very much. Just abide by the rules, right? Except us here, we cannot, right? This family here, right? But just according to the rules, those that are there, please make sure you have on your mask, right? It's very important. So, coming back to how you are thinking, I must commend all of you for taking the time to come here, for not allowing that fear to get the best of you and coming and saying, I am coming to offer my love to God and nobody can stop that and nobody can change that. Because here's the funny thing, right? Look at how life is, right? And how hypocritical some statements are. When it had the little situation in Movie Town recently, you all familiar with that? When it had they had a discount. And you would have seen this picture circulating on social media. The younger ones might be more familiar. You saw hundreds and hundreds of people together, right? Not so, correct? Yeah. Anybody get COVID? When it had only fed and party on the beach and all these different things, it had any COVID? No, it had no COVID, no. Not at all. COVID? What is COVID? But when time to pray and when time to chant in the name of the Lord, Baba, it had COVID, I can't come out. Who are you fooling? You understand where I'm coming from? So tonight, as we start this journey, tonight through tomorrow and through Wednesday, it is going to be divine, it is going to be amazing. Because I am here to pour my heart, my love, my soul and everything out in front of that Divine Mother. I hope that you join me and do the same. So I want you tonight, as we begin this journey in one tone of voice, I want you to lift your voices with faith, with love, with devotion. Express yourself, express your emotion. Right? And you're safe. When you open your mouth, the saliva can't fly out of nobody, right? Because you have the mask blocking you. So you're safe. Shout out loudly. When we say Jai, Jaikar, Jai means victory. Bhagwan, I am offering, I'm surrendering myself to you. As I say Jai, I chant in this loud tone of voice as I am trying to lift my frequency, as I'm trying to lift my level of vibration from within. That is what you are doing. You are taking yourself to a higher state of existence. Everything that you do is scientific. I don't tell you to do things that I don't understand. I tell you do what I understand because I know how it will benefit you. So in one loud tone of voice, let me hear you. Bolo Shri Adi Shakti Janamba Mata Ki. Kya baat hai? Now go faster. As we go along, I would hope that it will increase because we want to level up. When you lift your voice, when you chant like that and you chant with that power, that vibration, it takes you to a different level scientifically. Even though you might not be aware of it, sorry, it is happening inside of you, right? At this point in time, I ask all of you, please, Kara ho jaye, stand as we join in our opening Aarti. Om Yanakanish Papani Janandar Kitani Chatani Tani Vinashati Pranakshna Pari Pari Deepam Drishyami Om Sajan Tripati Sanika Mehne Lujna Mayadipam Grani Devasha Trailokyam Timina Paham Deepam Drishyami Jayam De Gauri Maiya Jai Shama Gauri Maiya
Shambhavidare Manshasura Bhati
देना इस दिन बदलती ब्रह्मानी रानी तुम कमला रानी ब्रह्मानी रानी तुम कमला रानी आगम गम भगानी तुम शिव पतरानी करत भैरो बाजत ताल मैदंग और बाजत डमरू मैया जय अम्बे गो सुख संपत्ति करता शोभित वरमुद्राधारी भुजाचार शोभित वरमुद्राधारी मनवांचित फल पावत सेवक नर नारी कंचन बाल मृदंग अगर कपूर बाती कंचन ताल मृदंग अगर कपूर बाती मांगती तुम्हेरा जग कोटि रतन ज्योति मैया जय अम्बे अम्बे मैया श्री अम्बे की आरती जो कोई नर गावे करत शिवानंद स्वामी सुख संपत्ति पावे मैया जय अम्बे भक्ति मैया जय श्यामा गौरी जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी जय शरणम आराम से बैठिए टेक योर सीट्स मोस्ट कंफर्टेबली So as I told you all before, tonight we are going to speak of that Divine Mother, that Divine Goddess, understanding the significance and the importance of that Divine Mother, not just in a spiritual aspect, not just as that divine Devi or that divine goddess, but as that divine Devi or goddess expressing herself in the form of the physical mother that we know, that we understand. The physical mother that we come into contact with, in touch with. Also, we can see and we can understand that divine mother through the form of all the females that exist in our lives. In the form of the mother, the sister, the daughter, the wife. I'll leave out anybody? And also, did I correct that? Alright, good. Right? So basically, all of the different forms that a woman can take in our lives, we understand that Divine Mother expressing herself. So, I always explain to devotees wherever I go that we are divinity expressing itself. So we are God expressing himself in human form. But tonight, as we are worshipping that Divine Mother, I want you to understand that we are that same Divine Mother who is known as Adi Parashakti, that divine energy manifesting itself in human form. Not just the females, but also the males as well. We are all an expression of that divine supreme energy. Because here's what. Before God takes a form, like we know, like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and even form of Durga Devi and Lakshmi Devi and Saraswati Devi, those physical manifestations, before God takes that form, any one of those forms, God is there in the form of just pure energy. Just in the form of pure energy. It all started with this one powerful mantra. Very, very powerful mantra that we all know. But maybe we might not even know that it's a powerful mantra. Because it's so short and simple. So normally, you know, devotees ask to say, Baba, I want a short mantra. Give me only a real short one tonight. Oh, Jai Bhagavan, look at love. I don't like a small one too. But it had a real power. Because the entire creation was manifested out of that mantra. Om. That's the mantra. That's the mantra. That's it right there. You can chant it like that. Or you can take it a step further, a little bit deeper, and chant it where you activate all of the energy centers passing through your spinal cord. Where you lift that energy and the vibration and carry it through your body. You chant it as Om. 3 syllables, please. U, and Ma. When you chant you experience that vibration resonating within you in the stomach area. If you feel it anywhere else, there's something wrong, right? We need to check that chakra alignment and see what is going on there, right? But when you chant that you're supposed to feel Say that for me, say Where do you feel that? Don't tell me here that thing, It should be over here, right? Must feel it somewhere here. Say you see it with force, you feel it over here, right? Stomach area, around this area here. When you say say it after me, Where you feel that? Anybody, where you feel Where you feel that when you say? You feel it like around this area, the throat area, the chest area, somewhere around here, right? And when you say, you say ma, or it's really right? Because it's not a complete ma. Repeat after me, Where do you feel that? It comes up here. So, if it's done properly, right? So, and While chanting that just now, I felt that vibration pass all the way from up here and it came, from down here, sorry, and it came all the way up. So that vibration is passing from here through all the energy centers in the body and it is coming up. When the monks chant this, if you listen to a monk chanting it, you'll hear them chanting like this. The Buddhist monks. Because this is how they are taught to to chant the mantra, because that is how it is going to activate the energy centers in your body. You can chant Om as well, as it is, that's fine. When you chant it Om as well, it resonates that vibration with it. But this is a little more detailed and a little more specific. So I want you all to try it with me. So I'll say it first, and then you say it after. So it's U, and Ma. Listen to me, and then you chant, right? You chant, you chant, you chant. Oh God, that's not. What's that? What is happening there? Oh God, Bhagwan, run away. Bhagwan is like, oh my God, what is happening today? We can't, that is tamasic energy. When that energy is very subtle like that, so tamasic energy, you have to lift it a little bit. Let it get a little bit more rajasic, and then you'll reach sattvic, the high state. So you have to lift it a little bit. Lift it a little bit. Speak a little bit louder, don't be afraid. Right? Nobody is watching you, everybody is watching this direction. So don't be afraid. It is going to help you significantly. Trust me on this one. When I say it, you repeat after me loudly. Chant, chant, chant. Question. Do you feel the vibration passing through your body? Yes? No? Some of you? You feel the vibration passing through? Right. So from today forward, you want an answer, you want a secret. This is where everything started from. That divine energy, Adi Parashakti, started from that syllable, from that vibration. Then from that vibration, Om came O and Ma, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. That's where it all started. Then it came there from the three of them, and then from them came all the other devatas and devis that we know and understand. Eventually, then it came to the human level, where you would have found the Saptarishis, the 7 saints, sages, the great saints, right? And from them, each and every one of us present here, my dear devotees, each and every one of us is born out of the lineage of one of those 7 sages. So when people tell you that I am better than you and this one is better and that one is better, tell them, no. We all came from the same source. You see, in this world, the Maya is so intoxicating. The power is a power struggle. When people tend to get power, you would have seen it in all the scriptures, right? These Rakshasas, when they get power through their tapasya, their devotion, they start thinking that they are better than others, right? But the reality is, at our core, we are one and the same. There is only one difference between all of us. It's an A word. I know they teach you A for apple. It's not apple, right? Right? That's what you learned, right? Alphabet. So it's an A word. There's only one difference amongst all of us. The second letter is W. Anybody can say the word for me? Huh? I think somebody said it. Awareness. Alright, the word is awareness. The only difference is that we are at different levels of awareness. What do I mean by that? Meaning that all of us, we see things differently, we perceive things differently. We perceive the reality of God differently. We perceive this universe differently, with this earth, this creation, our body, our lives. We see things, we understand things differently. From a consciousness standpoint, we see things differently. Some people like vanilla ice cream. That's the easiest example, right? Some people like chocolate ice cream. Some people like strawberry ice cream. Some people like me try to eat no ice cream. Right? Special occasions. Right? We have choices. You have choices, many different choices. But at the same time, we will all never choose the same exact thing at the same point in time. Why? Because if we are divinity expressing itself, right? If we are God expressing itself upon the face of the earth, isn't God unlimited? Isn't God omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent? Huh? The potential of God. The potential of God is unlimited. Right? God has the ability to fashion this entire universe, this entire multiverse as we know it, with the blink of an eye, and even less than the blink of an eye. So the power of God is unlimited. Therefore, Ishvara Amsa Jiva Avinashi. If we are partial manifestation of that supreme, that divine energy, that divinity, then that means that our potential is also unlimited. But you know what happens to us, dear devotees? We limit ourselves in this world. Because we tell ourselves that I am not good enough, I can't do this and I can't do that. You know why? Because we allow the negative things in this world to affect us. We allow the negative people around us to affect us. And we say, you know, I am not good enough. I am not intelligent enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. You know where all of that starts? You know where all of that starts? I was listening to an audio tape today speaking about awareness and consciousness. And they were talking about an experiment that was done where there's this doctor that would perform surgeries on people, plastic surgery, right? So he would change and give them facelift and change their nose. Yeah? Some people don't like the nose they have, they want a smaller one, it's too big. I never know breathing was a bad thing. Right? So the nose too big, they want a smaller one, right? And the experiment, what I'm coming to, the experiment was when they did this plastic surgery and they changed the look of the individual, automatically, psychologically, that individual, something happened in their brain, which eventually went into their mind. That individual started seeing themselves as a completely different person. That individual started behaving as though they were a completely different person. Isn't that amazing? Just by making a change to the physical body. Now don't want to change yours, eh? I'm going to tell you the secret right behind it. The secret is that all that changed was the way that they saw themselves. But for most people, they need the physical thing. They need to see it. They need to see it in front of them. What I'm telling you today, I want you to reach to that space, dear devotees, where you can visualize it, where you can see it, where you can know it before it has even come into existence. Before all of this that we now know as this mandir and our homes and our bodies and our lives, before all of this started, before all of this came into existence, it all existed at one level, at the energy level, in the form of divinity. Everything was just divine. So guess what? At our core, we are simply divine. As I always like to say, I am not a human being, but I am a divine being having a human experience. And so are you. So I want you from today forward to always remember that. The Divine Mother is reminding us, just like she's powerful, Durga literally translates to mean one who's an inaccessible fortress. That is the literal translation. She helps us to overcome and remove the Durgani, the negative impediments in the mind that leads to negative experiences in this world. So I want all of you, as we channel the energy of the divine, I want you to help yourself to realize that we are not worshipping some strange God that we do not know. We are not praying to some Devi that we have not seen, but that Divine Mother has always been present. She has always been present and existed through all of us. But when you think about that Divine Mother, I want you to narrow it down a little bit further. I want you to start understanding and start seeing that Divine Mother in the form of your mother. The Vedas say, Matra Devo Bhava. Honor thy mother as God. Our mother becomes our first talking, walking, living God that we know, that we understand, that we can see, that we can perceive in this world. Not so? I always tell devotees when we do Devi Puja, I always say, before you worship Devi dear, before you chant the mantra, I want you to get it clear in your head and in your mind that all you're doing is you are saying, thank you God for coming in the form of my mother. Because dear devotees, if we didn't have a mother, then we would not be present upon the face of this earth. We would not be in this human form. We are blessed to be in existence only because of that mother. You hear that, Jennifer? But you know, apart from the mother, the father is also very important. Now, that divine energy, that divine Shakti, combined with the masculine energy in the form of Lord Shiva, they are one and the same. Each and every one of us, we do not just carry the energy of that divine mother, but we also carry the energy of Lord Shiva. So within each and every one of us, we have the masculine energy and we have the feminine energy. The goal is to bring both of those into balance. Right? That is the goal, to bring both of those into balance within you. Normally, sometimes when we think about the mother, we forget the father because the mother is so loving and affectionate and expresses that mom, that sentimental attachment. And you know, she cooks nice food for you and like, well, if you like my mother. Always making sure you have nice hot bhojan to eat. You know what I mean? Making sure that everything is taken care of for you. Right? In this world, there is nothing, there is no one else that can replace that mother. There are fathers that take up that role sometimes when the mother is not there. And they do an exceptional job, and kudos to them for that. You know? So, in praise of that, we must understand that that divine mother, that divine Devi and Shiva, they are one and the same. If you worship Bhagwan Shiva, if you're worshipping that divine mother, you are actually worshipping the same one. Ardhanarishwar. Half Shakti and half Shiva. So the goal is not to separate either or, but the goal is to bring both of them into harmony, into balance within yourself. To understand that they are both expressing themselves through each and every one of us. So the goal here, what I'm trying to get to you is that it comes back to this point. We are all God expressing Him or herself in human form. So God is having an experience right now in the form of Amrandya. God is having an experience in the form of Jennifer, in the form of our Shruta, in the form of Pandit Avinash, in the form of me. God is having different experiences right now through the forms of each and every one of us. But God is not inside of you. God is not inside of you. You are that divinity expressing itself. Because God is the Paramatma, He's the super soul. You are known as the Atma or the Jivatma. You are the divine spark or that life force. You are a soul, right? That soul comes from the super soul. If you take water out of the ocean and you put it into a lota, the water from the ocean and the water in the lota different? They're different? No, the only difference is the quantity, not so? But it's the same. The water is the same. Similarly, God takes part of Himself and puts part into each and every one of us here. Right? Does that make us different? No, we might be in a smaller quantity. Like my good friend Albert here. Okay, that was a joke. Don't take it to heart, right? We might come in a smaller quantity, but at the same time, right? At the same time, it doesn't make us different. Yeah? It doesn't make us different. Bolo Shri Mahapuri Mahadeva Ki Jai. We join in this beautiful chant that I'm sure that you all are familiar with. And as we sing this chant, I want you to understand, I want you to picture Bhagwan Lord Shiva. Picture that divine mother, see them being unified as one, and understand that you are that divine energy, you are that divinity that is housed within that body that is made up of the 5 elements, and you are having this experience right now, a wonderful experience here. And the same divine that we are glorifying is you expressing yourself. It's a very deep thing to understand, and it's a very, very, very subtle concept. But I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Alright? You are the same water that comes from the ocean. The ocean is God and you are the water. Like this water in this bottle. I always use the water bottle as an example because it's a very simple example, right? The water in the ocean is in a vast quantity. Here, you have a little bit in a vessel. Some call this blue waters, then you have the sunny water, you have aqua pure, you have different kinds of water, right? You have many different kinds of water. But if you take all of them, right? When Brandon and I take this and I give this to you and I tell you, babe, go and pour this in the ocean, and you pour it in the ocean. And I say, Brandon, go and find out the blue waters. How am I going to find that back? Why? Because the water from the bottle and the water in the ocean now became one, not so? So I want you all to understand, it is time for you to take a dip in that ocean. Tonight, you are in Yajna, you are taking a dip in that ocean. Stir yourself in the ocean. That's why you come to the mandir. That's why coming to the mandir is important. Don't tell me, Baba, I can stay home and pray. Everything has its purpose. Staying home and praying is for one reason. But when you walk into this mandir, you walk into a place, you walk into the ocean. The vibration is already here. That energy, that divine energy is already present. You have to create it otherwise. Here it is already present. When you come here, you are tapping into that divine energy that is already present just by walking in here, right? What is happening is that you are leveling up yourself without even realizing it, just by coming and sitting here. Even if you don't chant, even if you don't know what is going on, just by being present here, you are leveling yourself up. Deep stuff, eh? But it's very, very beautiful once you start to understand it. Right? So at this point in time, we join and we chant this beautiful chant. I want you all to surrender, to offer yourselves to that divine. Understand that you are no different. Still yourself in that ocean. Take that dip into that ocean. That's why I always talk about taking a dip into the ocean. That is what I mean. Right? And go back to that state, that consistency of your original state, of being who you really are, which is God expressing itself in human form. Shambhu Mahadeva Shiva, Shambhu Mahadeva. You see, you can't talk about the Divine Mother, you can't worship the Divine Mother and not call the name of Lord Shiva. That is very, very important. It is said that in every puja that you perform, that name of Shiva must be chanted. There's that one katha with Daksh Prajapati, the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, you know. He was doing a yajna and he did not call the name of Lord Shiva and he faced the consequences. Because of the ego, because of the pride. Remember that when you're offering your love, when you do that puja, you must call the name, you must chant the divine name of Bhagwan Shankar. But also remember that if you only chant at least Om, you're already calling the name of Lord Shiva. That is how our mantras are designed, how our rituals are designed. You know, the saints and sages were so intelligent. They had this jnana drishti, this spiritual insight to understand. Let us make this thing so simple, and even if they don't know what they are doing in this day and age of Kali Yuga, just by chanting the simplest of things, they will automatically be doing everything that they need to do. You see how beautiful it is? Look how beautiful this thing that we call as Sanatana Dharma is. So beautiful. That it makes it so easy for you to access God and to attain God. You know, Swami Chinmayananda, the late great Swami Chinmayananda always says that Hinduism is such a beautiful religion because it has all the answers. You just have to find somebody to give you the answers. That's all. Shambhu Mahadeva Shiva, Shambhu Mahadeva. If your hands are clapped, create that energy, create that divine vibration. Dip into that ocean. Gangadhara Shiva Gangadhara, Gangadhara Shiva Gangadhara, Gauri Priya Shankara, Shiva Gauri Priya Shankara. Shiva 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 Shambhu, Hare 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 Shambhu. Shiva 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 Shambhu, Hare 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 Shambhu. Oh Shiva Ji Shambhu Mahadeva, oh Shiva Ji Shambhu Mahadeva, Shambhu Mahadeva, Shiva Shambhu Mahadeva. Gangadhara Shiva Gangadhara. Now, I want you all to sing. As you're clapping, what you're doing, scientifically, that energy, that vibration is pulsating between your palms. So you are dipping into that ocean, you are swimming. even if you can't swim physically like me, you are still swimming in that ocean, right? When you chant now, when you chant, it's not like you're just swimming, but it's more like you're now on a jet ski. Or you're on a boat, a speedboat. Because instead of taking slow movements in that ocean, you are now moving against the wind. You are now moving very swiftly, very, very fast. You are uplifting yourself quicker and quicker and quicker. You are reaching to your goal faster. So you want to reach faster or you want to reach slower? Which one? So you decide, right? So if you clap, you are reaching slow. If you sing, you are reaching what? You are reaching faster. So let's reach faster, right? Shiva 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 Shambho, Hare 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 Shambho. O Shiva Ji Shambho Mahadeva, O Shiva Ji Shambho Mahadeva, O Shiva Ji Shambho Mahadeva. Shambho Mahadeva, Shiva Shambho Mahadeva. Bolo Shri Mahadev Mahadev ki jai. Narayan. So now you're moving faster. You're moving closer to what is called as that self-realization or that salvation. Do you know that salvation is not a difficult thing to attain? Our goal in this life is that salvation. They call it salvation. It's really self-realization. It's not difficult to attain at all. But it's said in this day and age of Kali Yuga that for some of us, despite the fact that it's so simple, for some of us it seems very, very difficult. Why is it difficult? Because when Mama say clap, they say, oh, alright, Mama, clap. When Baba say sing, I say, oh God, I'm tired, I just come from work, I'm hungry. I only wait for this thing to done to get some nice bhojan. I only come here for the prasad. What are you thinking? Don't tell me. Nobody needs to know that. That is for you and for you alone to decide. For you and you alone to decide. But everything that I'm telling you, my dear friends, it is for your own benefit, it is for your own upliftment. It is tested and it is proven, right? And here's the funny thing, right? As I always tell people, sometimes you can give the world to people, you can give all the secrets that there is. And, you say, well, that is the reaction. That is called a tamasic reaction, it's called a tamasic behavior. You don't want to be in that state. When you get information, I love to receive information. You know why? Because I know every time I receive information, I am moving further. I am going closer and closer to my goal in life. I am getting nearer and nearer. So, when we think about that Divine Mother, in the form of Adi Shakti Jagannath Mata, expressing herself now as our own mother, right? It is said that that divine energy, that divine Shakti, before coming in the form of our mother, that is the energy that makes everything in this world possible. All actions and reactions are only possible because of that divine energy, that divine Shakti, that divine goddess. The ability to move, the ability to walk, to talk, all these things, the wind, the ability for the wind to blow. All of these things are only possible because of that divine Shakti, that divine energy. Right? When she comes in the form now of our mother, she starts fulfilling different roles in our lives. Right? Firstly, she carries us in her womb for 9 months. Right? Most of the time. She nourishes and sustains that child through her own body. Feeding that child for 9 months in a womb through her own body. That mother bears the hardships and the difficulties and the trials and everything, and she gives love to that child every day while that child is growing inside of her. She doesn't complain. Even if she does, it's just for a little moment and she goes back into that state of mom-love affection. She is so happy that she's about to bring forth life into this world. Just like that divine mother has given life to this entire creation, our mother gives life to us. She gives birth to the child, she takes care of the child, she nourishes the child, she nurtures the child. She becomes your first guru upon the face of the earth, teaching you your first words. Imagine this, huh? There's this little joke where, the mother carries you for 9 months, she takes care of you, bathes you, does everything for you, changes your diapers, everything. And then the first word that comes out of your mouth is, Papa. Right? No matter what happens, the first word comes out of your mouth. But the point I'm getting to is that mother, she does everything that she can possibly do. She loves and cares for that child. She protects her child. She does anything that she can possibly do. She will sacrifice her own health and well-being. She will sacrifice wealth and luxuries and anything that you can think about upon the face of the earth. She will sacrifice all of it to ensure that her child is able to grow in this life, to ensure that her child is able to advance in this world, to become the best version of themselves. That is the power of a mother. We worship this Devi, and when we worship this Devi, as I said before, I'm telling you, it starts with our mother. But we worship her in various forms, starting with one of the main forms that we worship that Divine Mother is as goddess. Which form? The main one. When you're doing puja, first thing you think about is, which Devi? Are they afraid to say it all? All ain't sure. It's a D word. Durga Devi. The first Devi that we worship is known as Durga Devi. As I told you before, the word Durga itself, let's listen and let's understand, let's hear a little bit about Durga Devi. Durga Devi herself, as I said, she's an inaccessible fortress. She's one who conquers and puts an end to negativity, right? And takes us through difficulty in life. She's the one who removes the Durgani, as I told you, the negative impediments. What are these negative impediments? They are blockages and they are obstacles that are existing in your mind, not in the physical world. They are existing in your mind. Every challenge or obstacle that you face in this world, my dear friends, I want you to understand this. It starts firstly in your mind. It does not start in the physical world. It starts here firstly and then it comes into manifestation in the world. Do you know that? Do you know that? You see something negative, for example, and you start thinking about it. You start thinking about it so much until it ends up happening to you. It's like a simple example I always use. Where, for example, you get your petrol checked and you hear you're going to get in an accident, right? And you think about that so much until it eventually actually happens. And when it happens, so my Baba, real good boy. You really thought that going to happen. And poor you didn't even realize that you manifested that experience. You created that experience in your own life. Because you started, let me see if I can break it down for you and keep it very simple as possible, right? You started thinking that thought consciously in your conscious mind. Your mind can be split into two main parts, right? The conscious mind and then you have the subconscious, right? There's also the unconscious, but we're not going to get into that. You have the conscious and you have the subconscious, right? You start thinking about that thing consciously, you're always thinking about it, right? And then eventually, by thinking about it so much, it gets placed into what is called as our subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the mind that you use to think, like what you're using to think right now. That's the conscious mind, right? The subconscious mind is what is called as the proof, and that is the thing that brings things into manifestation in the world. That is the creator. Like Brahmaji, that is the creator. But it's right here within your mind. So you think about this thing so much until eventually it becomes placed into your subconscious mind. And when it goes inside here, Jai Bhagwan. When it reaches into your subconscious mind, it shows up now. It starts to show up in the physical world. And it shows up here, and as it shows up, you're thinking that God gave you some destiny and God wrote some destiny for you, and that is what you are now experiencing, and it's not like that at all. What you are experiencing was created by you. What you're experiencing in this present moment, you have created in the past. What you will experience in the future, dear devotees, is what you are creating right now in this present moment. But please understand that you are creating it. Nobody else is creating it for you. No other God anywhere else is creating it for you. You are creating it for yourself. So, Durga Devi, how did Durga Devi come into existence? At one point in time, I'll not go through the whole katha, but you'll get the basis of it. At one point in time, there was this powerful Rakshas, this powerful demon by the name of Mahisha. So Mahishasura. Mahisha and Asura. Asura means a demon or a Rakshas, right? Mahisha was his name. So Mahishasura means that demon by the name of Mahisha. He was in existence, and all of these devatas, they were fighting a battle, a terrible battle they were fighting. But he had this boon, a special boon. He asked for a special boon, right? He did great tapasya, and he asked for a special vardhan. He said, I want the boon that only a woman can kill me. Look at this, huh? And now you can apply this in real life as well. Because he's thinking here now about inequality, and he's thinking here now that, oh, woman ain't powerful. There's no woman that is powerful that can kill me. And have all these devatas, and then one of these devatas might quicker have a chance. But there is no woman that is powerful enough that can kill me. You see, Mahisha here was just like the individuals upon the face of the earth that keeps underestimating the power of a woman. Right? So, saying that, all the devatas, battling and battling and battling, they were unable to put an end to Mahisha. And understanding the boon that he had, they realized that they had to bring their energies together. They brought their fiery tendencies, as I said, together. They brought it all into manifestation, and they formed a supreme divine goddess. Right? An extraordinary mass of light was created by their fiery energies and tendencies that they brought together. And that mass of light, it crystallized into the body of a powerful, and it is described as a powerful and most beautiful woman who was like nothing else that this universe had ever seen before. Coming into existence there, every part of her body was formed out of one of the male deities. So different energies was given from the male deities that were there to form the body of this divine goddess. But look at this, right? It took all of them to create this one deity. How powerful really now is Devi? Think about it. It took all of them to create one deity, all the male deities. How powerful is that divine goddess now? How powerful is the mother? How powerful is your mother? I want you to think about it. How powerful is God in the form of that woman when you picture it and you think about it now? It takes so much different energies to come together. So here now, all of these deities, they came together and they took their energies and they created, right? They brought in manifestation that divine Devi, who was none other than Durga Devi. And it is said that each one of them, they gave to her their energies in the form of various weapons. So for example, Lord Shiva gave her the trident, the Trishul, right? Indra-Devata, the god of rain and the king of the heavenly regions, he gave her the thunderbolt, the Vajra, because that's his weapon. So basically all of them are giving to her their weapons that they normally use, right? Vayu-Devata gave the power of the winds, control over the winds, and so on. She was given the lion and all of these things. When you think about Durga Devi and you picture Durga Devi riding upon that, as they say, Singh or Simha, riding upon a lion, it shows you true power. Because a lion is known as the king of the jungle. A lion is one of the most feared creatures in the jungle, not so? She does not just ride upon the lion, she rides also upon a tiger as well. both of them are fearful creatures, right? Fear, something of this sort, right? Right? They are mighty and powerful creatures. When she rides the lion, she's called as Simhavahini. When she rides upon the tiger, she's called as Sheravali. Because Shera means tiger, Simha refers to the lion, right? So that's where the different names come from. Simhavahini upon the lion, Sheravali on the tiger. So, getting all of these weapons now, she got that vehicle of the lion and all these different things. Coming into existence there now, she brought into manifestation other Devis, inclusive of one powerful divine mother, by the name of Ma Kali Mata. She brought her into manifestation as well at that point in time. And battling together with their power united together, that demon, Mahisha, was destroyed. At that point, that divine Devi got the name Mahishasur Mardini. You can sing it? You sing it? I'm just... So, she was given that name Mahishasur Mardini. The one, Mardini, Mahishasur Mardini, the one who has brought an end to the one who has destroyed. The one who removed that negativity in the form of Mahisha. Before we go into understanding these different weapons that were given and what they actually represent, we join a most powerful, beautiful bhajan. So now she has put an end to that Mahishasura there. She was blessed with all of these different weapons. It is said that that divine goddess carried 8 hands. And in those 8 hands she was blessed with 8 different spiritual powers in the form of those weapons. Number 1, the first weapon that was given was the Sudarshan Chakra, first power. Sudarshan Chakra comes from Lord Vishnu, not so? That Sudarshan Chakra represented control over the cycle of birth and death. Basically, immortality, if you want to call it that. It is said in this world that we live in a cycle of, we exist in a cycle of birth and death. And based on how you choose to live your life, you will keep coming back here, you will keep taking birth and coming over and over and over and over and taking different forms, different life forms, right, at different levels. It can be plant life, animal life, human life, as the case may be. Do you want to keep going through life like that? Or do you want to reach to a state where you can choose what experiences you want? Where you can choose who you want to become next? Which one do you want? Would you like to be like that? Choose where you could go next. Choose who you could become next. have all the powers vested in you. The ability to do anything you can possibly think about. To do anything that you choose to in this world. Would you like to be in that state? Yes? No? You all ain't shaking your head, not all, man. Come on, come on. I'm sure that each and every one of you, I'm sure that you would love to have that sort of power. So when worshipping the Divine Mother, she has the ability to bestow upon you that ability to attain self-realization, which is beyond birth and death, which is beyond rebirth or reincarnation, which will prevent you from being caught up in the cycle of birth and death. The second weapon that she carries there, the mace, right? The gada. That's like what Hanumanji has, right? This here is a symbol of victory, right? Of control over the senses. We have various senses, right? The sense of smell and taste and touch and all of these different kind of things, right? Sight and hearing, and we have the sense of intuition as well. All of these different senses. It is said that the senses that we possess, they are like horses, right? These senses are like horses. And all of these horses, they are sometimes, most of the time, they are running in different directions. So picture this for me, right, for a second. You are the charioteer, your body is the chariot, and these horses are pulling this chariot, right? And these horses decide to go in different directions. One is going that side, one is going that side, one is going this way, one is going that way. Where are you going to go, dear devotees? If these horses are going in many different directions, where are you going to go? You are going to go nowhere. You are going to go nowhere. So the goal is to try to get all of these senses under control. The goal is to bring all of these senses together and get them focused in one direction. In the direction of divinity, in the direction of the Supreme. So tonight here, again, you are being taught to try to get your senses to be focused in one direction. Apart from getting focused on the Supreme, I want you to understand something. It is said that where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your awareness goes, your energy flows. So if you are focusing here, there, and everywhere, you don't have proper focus, right? You are distracted, as a matter of fact. You're not focused. If you are distracted, you're here and everywhere. Every day you're living your life helter-skelter. You don't know what you feel, when you feel to do it, and how you feel to do it, and you're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. You have no plan for the future. You live aimlessly in life, like that. Then what is going to happen to you? What do you think happens to a person like that when they die? People ask the question, right? They say, Baba, what happens to us when we die? When we die, what happens? And then I ask you, have you ever wondered what happens to you while you live? Have you ever wondered what happens to you while you live? But what would that mean? I want to know what's going to happen when I die. What that means is that you need to learn how to live first before you start studying about death. You have not even prepared to live yet. But you are focusing on when you die. Oh Jai Bhagwan. You have to firstly learn to master this being, this body. You have to learn to master who you are, to have a proper experience upon the face of the earth. Once that is taken care of, everything else after that is taken care of as well. You don't have to worry about that. So what happens is that if you are confused now, when you die, you'll go into a confused state. And that's when they talk about the soul being here, there, and everywhere, and there's nowhere to go, and he has no focus. He needed to light a diya on a kalsa for 10 days for you to get some light potting. He has no direction. No direction, so he needs a little light. But my dear friends, if you are in a state of awareness and focus now, if you are focused now, when you die, you will remain in a state of focus, because all that is happening is you are leaving this vessel. That is all that is happening. You are taking a new vessel. But here's the thing, right? Think about it like this. Think about it like this. So you already have two main types of vehicles, right? Meaning, you can get a manual, the transmission we talk about, you get manual, you get automatic, right? Yeah, correct? We all aware of that, right? You get manual or you get automatic. So, for your entire life, right? All you know, you just know how to drive automatic alone. Right? That is not relevant. I'm not talking about the face of the earth, right? I'm just giving you a reference. You just know how to drive automatic now, right? You lose this automatic and then you get a manual one now. What's gonna happen to you? You're gonna be lost, not so? You're watching this thing now, you're seeing the gearbox and what do? I don't know what to do now. Where do I go? What is Jai Bhagwan? Similarly, according to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Shri Krishna says in chapter 2, he says, this body is like clothing. It becomes worn out after a period of time. And when it becomes worn out, you take new clothing. So just like that, you give up this old car and you're taking a new car. If you can't drive the car, you're not equipped to drive the car, what is going to happen? You're going to end up in an accident. Kya baat hai? That's very deep, eh? So it is very important to learn to prepare yourself to be equipped. You firstly need to learn to drive this. You want to drive our next one. You want to drive our Benz. And you can't drive a 323. you understand where I'm coming from? You firstly have to master this, and then everything else is going to be taken care of for you. Let's stand and glorify the divine name of the Divine Mother. As the next thing that comes there is the Trishul. She was bestowed with the Trishul, the trident she got it from Bhagwan Shiva. And that Trishul, the center one of that trident there, of the three spikes, it represents the Jiva, the Jivatma. It represents the soul, the consciousness that is able to transcend all of the gunas, what we like to call as the gunas in this world. When you live in this world, this body, based on this body, you have experience that would be either in a sattvic state, a rajasic state, or a tamasic state. Meaning, it will be in a pure state, a passive state, or a state of ignorance and arrogance. But you are the one that has control to be able to choose which state you want to exist in. Which one are you going to choose? Ambe Bhavani Durga Bhavani, Ambe Bhavani Durga Bhavani, Jagat Janani Ma Ambe Bhavani. Jagat Janani Ma Ambe Bhavani, Ambe Bhavani Durga Bhavani, Ambe Bhavani Durga Bhavani, Jagat Janani Ma Ambe Bhavani. The next one that she has is called the Parashura, the axe. So this axe represents the ability to cut away all the roots of attachment in this world. But here's the funny thing, right? When we live in this world, it's very easy to get attached, and it's not a bad thing. Some people think it's a very, very bad thing because that's what we are taught sometimes. At the human level, you are bound to get attached because you experience true emotions. As long as you have emotions, you must get attached. You feel love, you feel pain, you feel grief and sorrow, happiness, joy, all these different experiences. Today I was telling to a devotee in puja, while we live upon the face of the earth, you enjoy everything. You have the material things, that's fine. It's not a problem. Don't let nobody tell you not to acquire. Right? Because earth, material, wealth and possessions is one of the four pillars of human existence. But here's the thing. While having it, while experiencing it, do not be attached to it. So you can have it then, that's fine. This is not the age to go and sit in the forest under a tree and renounce everything. No. It is Kali Yuga. It is done in this age, it gets as simple as chanting the name of God, of the Lord. Chanting the name of God. That will help you to cross over the ocean of mundane existence. So just like this Divine Mother has this Parashura, as we bring the hands, we applaud her. We ask, oh Ma, help us to cut these branches of attachment. Ambe Bhavani Durga Bhavani, The next thing that she has is a danda or a stick. And this stands now for strict spiritual discipline, observance of the spiritual laws. You see, if you're practicing something, it is very important to understand why you're practicing. You know? And you can't use it conveniently. Sometimes we see things and we say, we tell others, it must be this way for you, but it can't be this way for me. You understand? So a leader says, do as I say, not as I do. But it's not supposed to be like that. Leadership starts with me, right? As the guru. It starts here. I practice and then you can see through my actions and you learn through my actions. I can't take this stick and tell you, go and learn. You need to learn or I'll beat you. No. I have to act firstly, I need to execute, and then you will follow. Because if you want to teach a child, right? A child learns how? They don't learn by what you say, no. They learn by seeing what you do. You want them to learn? Start doing the right thing. Param Shivani Sharda Bhavani Param Shivani Sharda Bhavani Oh Jagannathi Maa Bhavani Jagannathi Maa Bhavani Number 6, she has a sword. And that sword represents the power of knowledge. The ability to cut away and remove ignorance. How do you remove ignorance? Ignorance is avidya. You remove it through vidya, which is knowledge. How do you use the knowledge? People say that knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power, you know. Applied knowledge is power. If you get knowledge, if you get information, and you don't apply it, you don't use it, then what sense does it make? It makes no sense whatsoever. So when you come to the satsang, and you get this divine knowledge, you take it home with you, you analyze it, you interpret it, you apply it into your lives, and together, we uplift ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. Kali Kapalani Shakti Bhavani Kali Kapalani Shakti Bhavani Jagannathi Maa Bhavani Jagannathi Maa Bhavani The next one she has is a dhal or shield. And the shield now, it symbolizes things like perseverance and tolerance. The ability to tolerate the attacks of Maya. When you live in this world and you exist in this world, Maya is going to try all how. What is Maya? Maya is the elusive power of the Lord. Maya is going to try all how to pull you in all different directions, confuse you, intoxicate your mind. Don't go to the mandir, don't chant the name of God, stay home and watch TV. Right? Go online, go to the mall. I'm not saying you can't do all of those things that you can't. Nothing is wrong in that. But you also have to make time for God. Don't forget God in the process. Experience life, enjoy life, that's fine. As my mother said, not everybody is fond right? Experience life, but make time for God. Once a week there's service in the Monday, make time and come service. Whichever Monday you go to, you know what I mean? Make time and be present there. Serve the Lord. Do your little devotion at home. Chant the name of God. Chant the mantra. Do your Nitya Karma every day. Put on a little flower by God and chant a prayer. You know, offer your love to Bhagwan. Right? So that shield protects from the attacks of Maya. As we pray to that Divine Mother, we ask the Mom, shield us from the attacks of this Maya. Don't let this elusive power intoxicate us and get us caught up in this world, so that we lose ourselves and we forget who we really are and we forget to serve you. Next, the final weapon, my dear devotees, number 8, is the Vajra or a thunderbolt. And this now, it has the ability to burn and destroy anything which attacks, all negative things that come in your direction. This here is therefore a symbolization of the power of tapasya, penance. Right? Tapasya means penance, austerity, which can destroy and burn away completely all of the negative tendencies that are housed within us, the negative thoughts that are inside of us, the negative emotions, our fears, our doubts, our ego. Tapasya, by chanting that name of the Divine, all of these things are going to be removed. So I want you to chant with me. Amma Bhavani Sharade, Jagadamba Bhavani Sharade. Amma Bhavani Sharade, Jagadamba Bhavani Sharade. Sharade, Sharade, Mata Sharade. I want you all to understand something. I want you to offer your love. I want you to offer your hearts. Surrender. Surrender yourself now before that Divine Mother. I want you to pray. Put your hands together for me like this. And I want you to close your eyes and visualize that Divine Mother in a most powerful form, Adi Shakti Brahma Mata Durga Devi, with those 8 hands, with all these weapons, the Sudarshan Chakra, the Gada in one hand, the Trishul in another, that parachute, that axe, the dando, the stick, the sword, that shield, that Vajra, that thunderbolt, and that Divine Mother is sending all that energy and vibration into your life. She's protecting you from all harm, all difficulty, all pain and suffering. Pray to that Divine Mother. Om Katyayanaaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimahi Tanno Durge Prachodayat Tanno Durge Prachodayat Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Datre Swaha Sadha Namostute Amma Bhavani Sharade Jagadamba Bhavani Sharade we conclude and we complete the first night of our devotion, and time flies. When you get immersed in chanting the name of that divine Lord, that experience, you go into that state where time in itself just goes and you don't see what time is going and time is disappearing. I hope that this evening here, I hope that tonight that you would have received some knowledge, some information that you could take home with you, that you could apply to your life. Now you understand Durga Devi, her form, you know why she was brought into manifestation, you know how she came into existence. So when you worship that Divine Mother, now you know exactly why you're worshiping. It's so important. I like to break down these simple things, because sometimes we do these simple things and we don't know why we're doing it, right? So it's so important. Now when you go and you sit by that baby and you worship Durga Devi, what is going to happen? You're going to see her in a different manner. You're going to know, I am worshiping God here in the form of my own mother. I'm saying thank you, God, for taking the form of my mother and coming into my life, blessing me, protecting me, guiding me, always watching over me. Even up to now, if I reach home late, my mother knows I go in satsang and she can't sleep. She's still waiting. She's still calling my phone if I'm a little bit late. But that is the love of her mother. And I will not take that away for no reason whatsoever. Sometimes I say, why are you stressing yourself out? But you can't change that. Because there will come a day and there will come a time when I will not receive that phone call anymore. And I pray for that day to never reach. But I know the reality is that one day that time will come. So I want to urge you all, you have your mother alive, please cherish her. Take advantage of that opportunity. If she's not there in the physical form, understand that she's still in existence. She's just not here in the form that you know her as. You know where she is? She will continue to live on in your heart. And that is where God is. So God and the mother is one and the same. That brings my katha to an end. Bolo Siyapati Ramachandra ki jai. Panaji have conducted their completed Havan. So at this point in time, we make preparation as we join in our final Arati this evening. So please, kara ho jaye, stand.
Have sharp mind. Diam. Apa yang dibaca no?
Yan kanish papani janmantar kitaye jadani tani vinashanti pranashna pari priti pandashyami sajam private samika mahina yasudamaya dipam grahana divashakya yogyam tignaapam dipam darishyami. सुनो मेरे देवी पर्वत वासिनी तेरा पार न पाया तेरा पार न पाया पान सुपारी बजाना तेरे द्वारे गुण गावे मनमाचित फल पाया मनमाचित फल पाया सुन मेरी देवी जगत वासिनी तेरा पालन पाया तेरा पालन पाया जय देवी महाकाली रे जय देवी महाशक्ति रे माँ देवी सर्वभूतेषु विश्वमायेति शरदता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः जय देवी या देवी सर्वभूतेषु चैतन्येति नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः देवी सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः जय देवी महाकाली रे जय देवी महाशक्ति रे या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु क्षमारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लज्जारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः जय देवी महाकाली रे जय देवी महाशक्ति Please, just one time. I want you all to clasp your hands. Close your eyes and bow your heads and pray. At this point of time, we join our closing mantras as we offer our love to Bhagwan, thanking God for blessing us with this most wonderful opportunity to offer our love today here, to surrender ourselves. O Ma, as we come before you, we ask for your blessings, your guidance, your protection. Bless each and every one of us present here, our families, our homes, our villages, our country, and the world at large. Mandrahinam, Bhaktihinam, Yapujitam, Paripurnam, Kayena Vacha, Yatmanama, Kirumiyarya, Narayanaiti, Tvameva Mata, Tvameva Bandhush, Tvameva Vidya, Tvameva Sarvam, Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayana, Sridham Purnam Vasudevam, Sridham Namah Hari Om. With faith, with love and devotion, we lift our voices as we chant Vikshi to Bhagwan. Bolo Siyat Ramachandra ki Jai. Shri Adi Shakti Janama Mata ki. Shri Mabri Mahadev ki. Shri Satya Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. Har Nam Parvati Pate Har Har Mahadev. Jai Sitaram everyone. Aram Sweti, Arti will come to you. And Prasad is there, and I'm sure that refreshments are prepared. I believe that they would have prepared for takeaway. Yeah, correct? Good. So you all can receive on your way out. By the artist been passed, I'll ask for Jennifer G to do for us a beautiful bhajan.
Dunashini, Durmati Vedini, Dushtani Shodini, Durinamma, Ravisamasini, Rajani Chasini, Radhisitoshini, Lalitamma, Radhisitoshini, Lalitamma,
So devotees, thank you again for your presence, and remember we continue tomorrow night, so please make every effort to be here. It's going to be amazing. This is just the beginning, this was us warming up, so tomorrow gets better, the transitions like that, so please make every effort to be here, to be present here and to receive this prasadam, not in the form of the physical prasad, but in the form of the spiritual prasad that you're taking home with you, in the form of the knowledge that will take you and help you uplift yourself in life. So until tomorrow, Jai Devi Ma.